When you're looking for an irreverent take on popular movies, the LEGO series of games is sure to satisfy. Their rendition of Star Wars The Force Awakens is no exception, combining the traditional spin on its source material with a number of new game mechanics. Like previous entries in the LEGO Star Wars series, Force Awakens is broken up into a series of chapters, each covering a specific scene in the movie. These chapters must be played through in order before they'll all be unlocked for free play with any character. In each one, you collect studs, mini-kit pieces, and red power bricks to unlock power-ups. As some of these are only accessible with characters that aren't present during the story, you'll end up playing each level multiple times in order to fully complete the game. Outside of the levels are fairly expansive hub worlds. While you interact with them only sparingly during the story, once free play is unlocked, the large amount of content available on each quickly becomes apparent. In addition to gold bricks and characters frozen in carbonite dotting the landscape, there's a number of mission mini-games that also award gold bricks. The effect is to make a more seamless game experience. Even moving between levels can be fun. General gameplay in Force Awakens will feel familiar to those who have played prior LEGO games. At least two characters are always present, allowing for split-screen co-op that have to make their way through a brick-filled level. Destroying the environment will reward you with studs, and there's plenty just lying around to be picked up as well. Beyond providing currency for unlocking new characters, collecting the studs also fills up a meter for each level to achieve True Jedi status. The enemies are incredibly easy to take down, particularly if your character has a blaster handy. Just point in the general direction of the opponent and mash the attack button. In a new mechanic, certain set-piece battles move into more of a third-person shooter mode. There's still generous aim assistance, but these do a good job of making you feel like there's a little more skill involved. The vehicle and dogfight sequences in the game are an exception, feeling more like an actual combat simulator. It's a refreshing change of pace, yet a little grindy in segments where your only goal is to shoot down 12 TIE fighters. LEGO games are really more about exploration and environmental puzzles though, and there's plenty of those as well. Loose piles of LEGO bricks can be constructed by any character into a wide variety of helpful devices, and a number of them can be assembled into more than one. In many cases, solving a puzzle requires building each form in the right order, often combined with manipulating other elements in between. Each character belongs to a class that provides it with a unique auxiliary ability as well. Figuring out which combination of abilities I needed is usually not difficult, but is certainly enjoyable. Given that the game's primary audience is children, it's no surprise that there's no objectionable content. While you can and have to utilize the evil characters, they're working towards your goals instead of anything nefarious. Additionally, the story will require you to play as Rey and Leia for certain sections. Apart from that, the most objectionable part is that it encourages players to wantonly destroy everything in sight to get currency. It's still just playing with toys though, and this mechanic is consistent throughout these types of games. As a rule, every Star Wars movie has to have a big, flashy lightsaber duel, and while LEGO Force Awakens certainly includes them, they really aren't any fun to actually participate in. Mashing the attack button, doing jump attacks, or anything else you can think of never seems to break through your opponent's guard. The duel breaks down to just flailing around until a QuickTime sequence runs to allow you to inflict a predetermined amount of damage, then repeat 3 to 5 times. I understand that this isn't supposed to be hard, complicated, or even realistic, but it feels like there's no real player agency here. Like others before it, Force Awakens also has occasional problems with pinpointing the aim assist, though it's not as prevalent as in previous titles. In a few spots, it's annoyingly hard to get your shot lined up just right to hit the target you need to grab a mini-kit or power brick. The mini-vehicle fights that occur as hub world missions are also painful, as there just isn't enough maneuverability to really line up a shot. Add in a bunch of enemies that are far more accurate than usual, and the action often boils down to shooting randomly and jumping back in your fighter every few seconds after you've been destroyed. It's just a bit too chaotic for my tastes. Additionally, there are a number of puzzles with needlessly obtuse solutions, and a few railroaded vehicle sequences with difficult to line up shots that are required to get mini-kit pieces. These, along with relatively frequent crashes, especially when running in DirectX 11 mode, and other graphical bugs like characters getting stuck in ceilings at high resolutions, were very frustrating and often led to needless repetition of levels. When DirectX 9 was enabled instead, there was occasionally severe pop-in of objects, even at relatively short distances, and the game still occasionally crashed. Finally, there are also several valves that are impossible to manipulate with a controller, and must be manipulated after temporarily switching to keyboard mode instead. On one hand, there's absolutely no difference between one playthrough of LEGO Force Awakens and another. Even using different characters doesn't generate much in the way of variety. On the other hand, there's so much content to get through that it's not hard to enjoy over and over again. The lighthearted tone and frequent gags don't wear thin either. Over 3 playthroughs, I've logged 90 hours in the game, and I wouldn't have a problem picking it up again in the future. The requirement to play characters of both genders means that LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens gets a 4 out of 5 for morality. Otherwise, even for adults, the game is a brickload of fun. Unfortunately, the crashes with certain graphic settings, controller and resolution bugs, and awkward combat mechanics move the quality score down to 3 out of 5. While there's still plenty of room for improvement, this LEGO set is worth building.
The galaxy is coming on us. Solo, we'll figure it out. We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works.